Hello everybody, this is Money Mom. Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to tell you guys my 9 tips for batch cooking / meal prepping. Let's get started, and I'm also going to share a couple mistakes I made along the way, and at the end I'm going to show you something I botched up, so definitely stay for the end to see what this special little dessert is in here and see if any of you can tell what it is. So let me get right into it. The first thing, and I know we've talked about it first, is that I always look now for my oldest items that I've had the longest in my refrigerator, freezer, and pantry. I don't just kind of glance in there. I actually take time to dig out what do I have, and I'm making a meal plan for canned foods that have been in there for the longest, freezer foods that have been in there longest, and pantry foods that have been in there longest, and I incorporate a meal plan over that. That way I'm not using something I just bought. I'm using something maybe I bought 6 months ago and using that up. That's number one. The good news with all that is I haven't had to throw anything away because it was too old, so that's positive. Number two, and this is a biggie, remember to use my canned items. I know canned items last a long time, but sometimes I look in there and I'm like, why do I have 20 cans of this one particular item? I've really started delving in and going into my canned items because I was running out of space to put them. And even though they don't go bad like maybe something in the refrigerator, freezer, I still need to be mindful of how many canned items I have. Number three, and this is a big one, keep recipes simple. For example, let's say you want to make a particular cake because you've got a couple of the ingredients at home, but then you've got to go buy 10 more ingredients to make that cake or a specialty spice. It doesn't end up being frugal. So what I'm doing is trying to keep things as simple as I possibly can, and sometimes I just kind of go with what items I already have and improvise. Number 4, which brings me to number 4. Use substitutions if you need to. For example, I made this baked bean dish today that was delicious, and really I gotta tell you the secret ingredient is a little bit of vinegar because it just gives it a little tang. A little vinegar and a little molasses. That being said, I didn't have butter beans. I just used a different kind of beans. I didn't feel like I had to go out and get butter beans. You can always substitute, and I'm getting better about substituting. One of my recipes called for crushed pineapple. For some reason, I by accident grabbed whole pineapple, not whole pineapple, but sliced rather than crushed, and this is the crushed. Well, guess what? I just ground it up. I improvised with what I had. Also, another thing, and this is the big one, number 5, don't make too much. I tend to think that I have 10 teenage boys living at home, and I can end up making too much. And then you don't end up wanting to waste it, because I have wasted food before, because there are certain things that can stay in the refrigerator longer than others. One thing that doesn't last very long is seafood. So if you make something like tilapia, for example, you're not going to be able to keep that in the refrigerator 7 days. So either eat it right up, or maybe just don't make as much. And also, and I didn't add this on here, but I'm adding this as an additional tip, as you're doing meal prepping each week or batch cooking, be mindful of things that just don't go over that well, or people aren't eating as much, or even things you don't like. That way you don't repurchase them. Also, that brings me to number 6, which can go with all of this. Freeze things as you go. If you find that hey, you're not going through things as quick, go ahead and take half of whatever you made, maybe baked bean dish, you know, cornbread casserole, a chicken dish, doesn't matter what it is. Some things you can freeze, and I've been doing that now and labeling them with dates. That way the prep's going to be faster next time. Number 7, and I kind of mentioned this too, record impressions as you go. And for example, let's say you get a recipe from a cookbook on an Italian chicken, and it's from one of your cookbooks. And let's say all the family members really liked it, but for some reason you felt like it needed more sauce, or you wanted to substitute an ingredient. I will go write, hey, I give this an A, yes, I'll make it again. Next time, substitute this, more of this, less of this, and I'll write notes, which will help me next time I make that dish. Also, number 8, have a schedule of when you're going to do this. This last weekend, I worked all weekend merchandising and demoing, so guess what? I did meal batching over a 2 to 3 day period rather than all on a 1 day. And guess what? I also made less food because we're not going through it as quickly as I thought we would. And so I didn't end up making everything on my list. I prioritized my list. I'm starting to make a little bit less, freeze more, so I'm being a better steward of what I have at home. Number 9, each Thursday I kind of go through my refrigerator, freezer, and pantry, and I do a really good job of kind of cleaning it out, deciding what I need to use first. So these are just my 9 tips. If any of you batch cook or meal prep or anything like that, if you have any tips you want to share, let me know. My best tip though is if you have a cookbook, write notes down to things of how your family liked the recipe and what substitutions to use and what next time to make it better. Now I'm going to show you this cake. I made this orange cake that I got. I absolutely love, but it called for mandarin oranges. It's a sunshine cake, and there's several recipes out there. It asked to put mandarin oranges in the cake batter. The only problem is it made the cake heavy, and so it kind of split apart. Next time, and I got a tip from someone else, don't put it in the cake, put it in the frosting. So next time I'll do that, but it still tastes fantastic. It's an orange flavored cake. I wanted to show it to you. I don't know if you guys can see it. I know it doesn't look the prettiest. You're probably going, what is that? Would I want to taste it? It tastes really refreshing and really, really good. But it wouldn't be something I could bring to a picnic because it does not look attractive or pretty like the videos I saw. So, lesson learned. That's the great thing about this batch cooking. I'm learning lessons. So, by the way, let me know what tips you have, because I always love to hear from you. And before signing off, I want to tell you, come back tomorrow because I'm doing a video called It's Exhausting Being Me and how my impulsivity has cost me time and money and other things. So come back tomorrow for that. I think you'll enjoy it. That's all for now. I love you. I appreciate you. And like I always say, I'll see you on the next video. Bye-bye.